Hello everyone, my name is Stephanie Lynnette and welcome back to my channel. Now you can probably tell from the title of this video that this video is going to cover kind of some difficult topics, and I wanted to talk to you about one of the reasons I've been away for such a long time, and that is because I had a blood clot in my brain. So this all started at the end of March 2022. I was struggling a lot with my sinuses, and I struggle with something called chronic sinusitis, which means that I always have issues with my sinuses. It's nothing new. And I just thought I was suffering from a general kind of sinus infection. I thought maybe it was COVID. And I was really struggling with my balance. I was really struggling with staying upright, and I was really struggling with my vision. And although I haven't shared a huge amount on this channel, I am partially sighted. I can't see anything out of my left eye. It is due to an untreated lazy eye that I had when I was younger. And I was really struggling with tunnel vision and blacking out, and I was having heart palpitations that I had no idea what they had to do with. I was fainting in the bath, I was fainting at home, and I was kind of speaking to my doctors, and I was speaking to 111, which here in the United Kingdom is the NHS kind of free contact number, out of hours doctors and things like that. And I was speaking to, you know, a couple of people who didn't really know what it was or what it could be. And then things started to get really, really scary in late March. So I kept having episodes of fainting on the tube. And the tube in London is an underground railway system that I used to get to work. It's part of my everyday, it's part of who I am as a Londoner, and I kept fainting on the tube. It happened to me 3 times in a week, and then on the third day I thought, right, I'll call 111, and so I called them, I explained what was going on, and then I kind of left it over the weekend, and I thought I was feeling better. And then on the Monday, on my way to work, I fainted on the tube. I got to work, and then when I was trying to get home in the evening, I fainted, completely blacked out 3 times on an 8-stop tube journey. We're talking King's Cross to South Kensington. Not a long tube journey by any stretch of the imagination, and I fainted 3 times and no one helped me. And I was blacking out on the platform, I was blacking out on the tube, and it was terrifying because I couldn't see anything, and my vision would double. All of the London Underground entirely operates on lights, so lights were a huge trigger. Motion was a huge trigger, and so I had to go into A&E, and I got to A&E and I sat in the waiting room pretty much blind on the 3rd of April 2022, and I waited there for, you know, hours and hours and did my thing, and they kind of tested me through, and they thought it might be anxiety and things like that, but they said due to the vision blurring, it sounded like I potentially had something called an aura, and an aura is a type of migraine that specifically affects your vision, and so I had to go for a CAT scan, a CT scan, and in the CT scan they noticed a small kind of mass in the back of my head, in my brain, in a vessel called the transverse jugular vessel. Now, it turns out that I had developed a small blood clot in my transverse sinus jugular vessel, which is the large vessel at the back of the brain, which feeds into the sections of your brain which control your vision and which control your balance. And it was causing swelling in my eyes where there wasn't enough blood supply. It was causing complete loss of balance. And so I was admitted to hospital on the 4th of April 2024. So I got to the A&E and then on the 3rd, and then I was admitted on the 4th. And I was admitted to their neurology team, and I was there for 3 days. Now, because I had thought that it was anxiety, my body was developing an anxiety response to motion because I thought it was potentially triggered by motion. And having a CT scan when you're worried about fainting due to a motion trigger was really, really difficult. It was horrendous, actually. It made me feel so sick. And it was really, really difficult for me because I was alone, because I live in London alone. My family are very far away. And so it was really hard to go through that on my own. And so I had my blood thinned on something called an anticoagulant, and an anticoagulant is something that thins out your blood. And they used that to thin out the clot in my transverse sinus jugular that was affecting my vision and the blurriness and things like that. And I had three CT scans. I fainted in 2 of them. The first one, I didn't realise that I was going to see emotion, and I was shaking and crying. And the second 2, I just fainted because I knew that I had to get it done, and I knew that if I was going to faint, then at least I would be still. So I fainted during that, and then I had to have 2 MRI scans, and those are longer than CT scans, and they, you know, I'm not a particularly anxious person. I suffer more from depression than I do from anxiety, and I had panic attacks. I was sweating in a cold sweat. I was just beside myself because I felt so uncomfortable, and because I didn't know what to do. So cut to the 4th day, the 8th, blood clots gone, everything's okay. They think that I developed blood clots because when you take estrogen, you have a higher chance of developing blood clots. And so they lowered my estrogen, which has, you know, some dysphoria implications, but it was important for me to, you know, make sure my physical health was okay. And I got out of hospital. It took me 3.5 weeks to get over my anxiety response to getting back onto the tube. I am still on anti-anxiety medication because I don't think I could get on public transport without it, because my body naturally has just developed an anxiety response to getting on public transportation. And it was really hard. And it makes me emotional to think about it because I went through it on my own. But I just wanted to let you know that that was my main reason for staying away. There were several times when I thought I was going to relaunch my channel, and then I lost my job and things like that. But then in April, when they found the blood clot in my brain, and after my fainting episodes and my blacking out episodes and things like that, I just couldn't do anything than operate at the bare minimum. I was so anxious, and the effect it had on my overall mental health was crazy. I was not expecting it at all. But just so you know, I'm okay. The blood clot in the back of my head, in my transverse sinus jugular vessel, has now gone. The anticoagulants worked. I was on them for about a week. And then my vision is okay. There is some permanent damage to one of my eyes from where it was being starved of a blood supply because there was clotting happening in one of the main jugulars that kind of feeds that. So there is some damage, but I'm currently kind of looking into that. I've been referred to the neurology department at Chelsea and Westminster Hospital, who have been brilliant with me. And I can get the tube again now, which was really difficult for a while, for a long while. So I'm obviously very happy about that too. But yeah, I just wanted to share with you my story of finding out I had a blood clot in my brain It was terrifying. I remember calling my mum at 3 in the morning once they found the clot. They didn't know whether to come up or stay in Cornwall, and I saw some friends. And I thought I was gonna die. You know, they find a blood clot in the back of your brain in one of your biggest jugular vessels that's causing blindness, fainting, I couldn't walk. I thought I was gonna die. And I didn't, and I'm here, and I'm strong and thriving and all of those things. I opened a museum, da 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 da. So yes, I am all okay, everything's fine. I can see again, a little bit of damage, but I can see again, and I can function, and I can get the tube, and I can go to work, and all of those important things. My videos are coming out every 2 weeks at the moment, just because that's where I'm at and that's where my life balance is. Thank you for the time that I needed to heal. I know I said in my video 2 weeks ago that I really, really appreciated it, but you know, having such a serious health issue like finding a blood clot in my brain, you know, scared the shit out of me and all of my family and friends and colleagues, but also kind of kept me away from this for a little bit longer than I thought it would. So thank you so much for giving me the time. That's kind of a little bit of an explanation, a bit for story time about where I've been gone and what happened and how they treated it. And I will see you in 2 weeks' time for another video.